guys waste the same supposed scarce resources on frivolities, and then you get more probably or should be more enraged, and then everybody talk about it. Things are tough, things are hard with this government, and then you decided to say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take it upon myself and challenge these guys, and then boom, just see this mob of Nigerians all over the place from all classes, right? And then they will just swarm you. So you would start having to fight for your life, fight for your mental health, and the rest of that. So to those of you who have found yourselves in such situation, I don't know if you are many, maybe your own little space and all that. So you may share your experience too, because a lot of people will have theirs. The thing is, Nigeria cannot be saved. If you want to save Nigeria, that means you have to have Nigerians. And these Nigerians, they must be taught the essence of, or the importance of patriotism and nation building. You know, when you're taught that, so when these strange criminals hijack power and decide to lead you to the wrong path, but because you have been taught the real, true nationhood and nation building, patriotism, where everybody actually agrees to be in the same space. You know, we never agreed to this one. I'll keep reminding you, no matter how much you feel about it, we never agree to this contraption. And that is why the people's interests, they are never captured in what is supposed to be the constitution of the contraption. A constitution of a country is a constitution when the people vote on it. People vote on it and say, we accept the content of this constitution. Yes, and then it will become binding on the whole country. You don't have democracy. You don't have a country. You have a creation of the British, which has lasted far, far, far longer than they themselves thought it would last. No thanks to these rogues who are now your local colonizers, right? So you need a constitution that recognizes you in Nigeria. A constitution that actually specifically identifies you, identify the place you are currently located as indigenous people, respect that, codify that, you get, nobody can touch that. That is a constitution that you can now say, okay, yeah, you have a country. Then you can say you have a Nigeria if all of us agree to call it Nigeria, right? Nigeria. Then you are a citizen of that place. This is your birth land, your land of birth. This is a place that you are not just existing, you are protected by the law of the land. Something that when you begin to see the strange move of these rogues, these criminals, that is beginning to turn to a different trajectory as a citizen, as a Nigerian, if there is any true Nigerian, the first thing is it's going to be unanimous. All these killings, terrorism that the northern Nigeria elites created and forced upon Nigeria, this terrorism would have been, the real terrorists are those ones in government, right? Yeah, those are the real terrorists. So the real terrorists would have been challenged unanimously by the people of the area and say, if politicians are coming to tell you to pardon terrorists, politicians are telling you that they are rehabilitating terrorists, what audacity. So there must be consequences for that. You are in Nigeria, they made law. Their law says your ancestral land, your indigenous land, that you named your towns, every piece of land belongs to the government of Nigeria. Who does that? Which government? Which government owns your land? So they did that because it is in your constitution. The constitution that the constitution that you never voted on. So it's being used to lord over you. It is that same constitution that failed to protect you as indigenous people, as Nigerians. Right? So the whole thing is so wrong from the start. The people are crying for help today. Politicians are giving them middle fingers. Politicians are proudly saying it on TV. Governors, northern governors, so the other politicians, even your president, publicly, confidently telling you that you should learn how to accept the rehabilitated terrorist. And there's no consequences because the people don't even know who they are. They just told them they are Nigerians. Oh, Nigeria. That's it. They have no idea what their citizenship actually entails because it's not even clear. Educated people are finding this conversation like this. They are finding it a little bit unsettling. Can you believe that? A very serious, important conversation that will actually make people see themselves as citizens of that country, and they have something to fight and die for. You don't have that in that contraption right now. So the whole thing you are experiencing or you are living is the creation of these rogues. And in that, they've created intentionally the chaotic space that you have today. Chaos in security, chaos in governance, chaos in economy, chaos in almost every sector. And then everybody's trying to figure out, like, how can they do? You can't do anything when you actually have no plan. They say a failure to plan is actually a plan to fail. So the criminals running Nigeria knows this. Everything is wrong with the whole arrangement. Everything is wrong. Or if you do have an agreement that makes you a Nigerian, for example, right? There will be those for, there will be those against, but there's something that will be like a common interest of the country. When people feel like, Nigerians don't feel like that right now. So when people feel like their existence is threatened and the government is trying to protect the interest of the attackers, that automatically brings a national unity against such group of people, not the terrorists. So, because without these criminals in power, the terrorists won't have any means of saying they want to even negotiate anything. These terrorists in government allowed that. And you, so divided that you couldn't face them. You can't fight them. You can't vote them out. That's not a country. So if anybody now says that Nigeria will be great, how? Countries don't become great because they can pray. Everybody says that all the time. Countries don't become great because they can pray. Israel has been in different entanglement with different countries in the last 1 year. They have never called for national prayer for once. That their God of Israel should come and defend them. But you have a people, you have a set of people far away in Africa, far away from Israel, that are calling on the God of Israel to come and save Nigeria from the terrorists. Is that not a shame? Something that you should know that they are pure distractions created by the same system. The politicians or the pastors or the Imam Abina Sheikh, all these people, right? Religion, or they are all working hand in hand. But there must be something. They ordinarily don't even need convincing. Nobody even need to preach to you. Where you have something called the national consciousness. Nigeria will not get anything called national consciousness. Everybody, it is all man for himself right now. Do you understand? So, no matter how long you pretend about that, fighting for Nigeria is a delusion, knowing all of this. I'm fighting for Nigeria. Iwatitani, who are you fighting for? Me? No, you're not fighting for me, bro. You're fighting for yourself. So, I always make this proposal that once everybody begin to know that they have one common enemy, all of us have one common enemy, which is the enabler of whatever it is that people are facing in that contraption today. And that one enemy is APC, and anything that is associated with it. It is a threat to every part of Nigeria. And I'll tell you, because as usual, as typical Nigeria, some part of your blood, don't they tell you, say, I should add APC, I should add Labour, I should add this, I should add that. I will kind of try to heal you of your stupidity too. Let me explain it to you. Nigeria is not a real place. Nigeria democracy is not real. Your Nigerian constitution is fake. And therefore, when you begin to look at how they structured it, you will realize that having this, what they call the states, you have local government on paper, right? Yet, the entire power of the country is concentrated in the hand of one person, whoever is the president of that contraption. It is so hidden. They hid it so well that they now gave the people illusion of democracy, illusion of, oh, we want to do election, illusion of, we will vote you out. You know, that illusion. Military criminals put together Decree 24, a military enactment, and they call it 1999 Constitution. APC, they make laws, they make policies, they control the National Assembly, they control the judiciary as they control the executive. You see, these three, they are enough to put your country on the right trajectory if these are not terrorist sponsor, terrorist sympathizers themselves. As an executive, you have the legislatures that will make the laws. If your laws are laws that are tailored towards one, you want to fight insecurity. So if you capture terrorists, what are you waiting for? What are you rehabilitating? Why do you have to rehabilitate a terrorist? A dead terrorist is a repentant terrorist. So a policy that is put in place that will put them before the judiciary, that will sentence them to death by hanging right away within 7 days. A policy that executes terrorists that have killed Nigerians is a policy that an executive can conveniently formulate, process and pass and execute. Policy new. The policy that says any terrorist captured, you better pray as a terrorist to be killed while you are confronting the soldiers. If you are captured, you will wish you were killed when they were killing your other members. Now, a policy can take care of that. And you don't stop there. A policy that round up the sponsor of terrorism, as far as if there is an emir or have been a Satan or anybody anywhere in northern Nigeria, that they have been executed or not jailed, though. Those who they see as a big cleric, this big that, promoting divisive rhetoric, promoting this extremism in Islam and all that, promoting this divisive rhetoric and all that stuff. In that northern Nigeria, once the judiciary execute like about 30 of them, nobody needs to tell them that it is a crime. Policy. And then this issue of terrorism and all of that, even if it is not totally eliminated, it will be so much isolated that Nigerians will at least be safe wherever they are. Go back to their farm. Policies that says every thief will spend the rest of their life in jail. Whether you steal, as a public official, whether you steal 1 million or you steal 1 million naira or you steal $1 million, you will spend the rest of your life in jail. And people have been convicted, sent to special prison for this particular set of policy. And watch how, you see those where the police where they collect bribe on the road, those who are demanding bribe from you, watch how everything will kind of like dissipated. Like everything will, you get, corruption go day, but it will be by choice, not by system. Choice means you participate in corruption, you wait for the consequences. Policy. But they won't do it. They won't do that. Rather than do any of this, that could have helped in the area of economy, security, and what have you, right? Rather than do any of that, they are promoting policies that continue to impoverish the people. Policies that continue to displace the people. Policies that continues to deplete the country. Policies that continue to lead the country into perpetual indebtedness. Generations yet unborn will be born into poverty, courtesy of these guys. Policies. But if you don't see it that way, It is policy that allows those other branch rogues that you call state governors in Nigeria to believe that they are like a small Atlas, like a small, because they can get away with anything. If you want to do too much, his own people in his own state, his own tribe in his own state, they will begin to say the enemy of the anybody who is against him, they are the enemy of their tribe. But a single policy will take care of all of that. You know what I mean? Policy. So APC, Egbekegbe chose something different. They chose differently. They chose to accommodate criminals, elevate them, reward them, so that they could be very much useful as, if no one is gone, useful. And I think, again, that's why I see them as your common enemy. It is because of the misrule, misgovernance in Nigeria, especially in the last 10 years. And I know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Nigerians are so lovey-dovey, what they call it, lovey-dovey with themselves before APC came. No, I'm not saying that. People were much like discreet. People were much like reserved about, what you can call their kind of like animosity towards one another. Sometimes we bant, we joke, we just move on. APC came. Bokowari, they came with what do they call them? Scissors. I've been a knife. I've been a dagger. They now look into Nigeria to remind everybody, say, Omo, not be the same. Yoruba is Yoruba. Igbos are Igbos. Fulanis are Fulanis. Awusas are Awusas. Jukun, Berom, Irobo, Ijo, sorry if I don't mention yours, because you have over 500 of us like that, so pardon me. They started the knife, started putting it. It was so bad that the people of the Middle Belt have to come out to say they are not part of the North. APC divided Nigeria so bad that the people of Middle Belt that they call them Arewa, for God knows since when. But they realized that it is when it is politically convenient, that is when they will recognize them as the North. Now that Fulani terrorists have turned Middle Belt into the graveyard of Nigeria, they saw the attitude of those who are other Arewa Sharia, how joyous some of the extremists are, how happy, how supportive they are to the terrorists. The Middle Beltans started saying, we are not part of the North, we are Middle Belt, we are Middle Belt. Don't pretend, though. All of this came to light under Bokowari, APC, Egbekegbe. Tifnubu came and said, Emi Lokon, Yoruba Lokon. Today, the rale nonsense here has further divided the people. Today, don't pretend about it, though. APC, Egbekegbe. And it is in that division that APC maintains power. All of them just keep divided. Even if you are not divided enough, Onofunuga can probably rile their base and say, oh yeah, action. And before you know it, everywhere you turn, they see threats. The Yorubas, these Ronukus are threatening the Igbos. The Igbos will be threatening the Ronukus. Everybody will be madness everywhere. Courtesy of those in government. Keep them divided. That is why today, this division you are witnessing today kicked off by this APC. If you go back to 2013, 2014, whatever it is that the obedience are being accused of today, they have actually not even done 1% of what these Ronukus did. They were threatening the sitting president that they will give him Gbagbo treatment. Some were even threatening that if Egbere Jolantan failed to, if Egbere Jolantan failed to leave power in 2015, they go do what they did in 1966. Can you imagine that? We will repeat 1966. One of them said, I'm going to put it on the screen soon. Right? Take a look at this one. They so divided the place, yeah, that it became part and parcel of their campaigns. You feel me? Igbos, Hausas, this one, that one, under APC, Egbekegbe. One is this, so 1 minute. His message for their fellow Northerner is that any Northerner who wants Peter Obi to take over Nigeria is an enemy of Islam and the North. Not just that, oh. Messages like this are not random, oh. They are intentional. Oh. But take a look at this one. This was in 2015. Nigeria on the brink. The court judgment today will determine the fate of the country in the coming days. Get should not make us repeat 1966. This is a Northerner now. Educated, though, is a PhD holder from the North. Though. In 2015, he said this online. He is proud